My name is Garrison Price. I attended the 103rd Men's Crucio in East Waterford, Pennsylvania. I sat at the Decoria of St. Anthony de Padua, and I go to the best church in the Harrisburg Diocese. St. Teresa's, I just wanted to start with some lighthearted confession stories, but as he was, I was listening, but I was replaying some funny moments that I had in the confessional with Father Saw. I think they're funny now, but I'll just tell one. But he talks about telling too much detail, and I cannot remember what I said to my wife. But I was in there, and it wasn't the reason I was in confession. It was just part of the load. And he sits up and he says, "As soon as we're done, you go home and you apologize to me." Right there. And I walked in and she was sitting there. We had been fighting even before I left. And I told her what had happened, and she was just smiling ear to ear. She's like, "I like Father stuff." One more. This one, I was in a bad mood. It was a Saturday morning. I think it was after group, which this is why I was telling it's transition to grouping. But I was in a hurry, and I just had a bad run. I was being impatient with everybody, and I don't remember exactly what I said. But I was in a hurry, and it was there already too long. And Father saw it. I finished, and he leans forward and he says, "You know what's your problem, Garrison?" And I remember putting my head down and being like, "Here we go." But he did say, I remember what he said. He said, "You're full of yourself." And I remember being like, "Yeah, here we go." But he said, "You're full of yourself and not Jesus." And I'll never forget that because I remember just preparing for this lecture, and that's all it was. You're full of yourself. Yeah. You need to be full of Jesus. And I remember walking out of there kind of a little happier. But anyways, back to the topic here. I was frantically reading the fundamental ideas before the speech, hoping that I could get my whole speech in like 3 pages. I could just read it, but I just couldn't find anything other than a description of group reunion. So I imagine most of you know what group reunion is, but here's an actual definition or description in the fundamental ideas. And it says, the group reunion is a group of Christian friends who come together to be better friends and better Christians. So they say that's a description, but it's almost like an objective, I guess. But the nuts and bolts of group reunion are, I guess I don't know exactly what it is, but I can tell you what I think it is. For me, when you leave the weekend, you're entering your 4th day. Some of these guys know the first 2 weeks you are on fire, and then slowly but surely the battles rage, and you go back to I guess everyday life, or it's not everyday life because it's totally different from that point forward. But group reunion, especially on a weekly basis, is a tool to be used to just keep battling, and I always, when I come to group reunion here on Saturday mornings, it's almost like I'm leaving the battlefield to come in and discuss and just decompress. There's adoration and there's all kinds of things, but group reunion, it's not a group of friends on Saturday morning here to drink coffee. I'm friends with everybody that I grew up with, but we're not, out at the bar every night. We're not, we don't go to football games together. We're brothers in Christ, and we're here to, like the definition says, to be better Christians. So in group reunion, there's 3 pillars that you're supposed to discuss. And so the first one's piety, study, and action. And so it's important that you stick to the pillars. We're not, I'm not going to say this doesn't happen, but we're not here to talk about stuff that really made you upset. And it's not a place to empathize. You're here to just see how you did that week with your piety, study, and action. And I don't know if this is if this is everywhere, but we always do a closest moment to Christ, and man, that's my favorite part. But it's important that you stick to the pillars, just because that's the structure that they set up. Like I said, I'm not supposed to empathize. So, and also it's not a all men group together and women are not welcome. It's at least from what I've read, there's no rules against that, and no suggestion that says that women should group separately from men. You know, the interesting thing is I had several phone calls today, and it seems like every time I do a talk, I end up having these conversations, and Brian was one of them, and he had talked about grouping. I guess it was last week, and there were women there. Women do tend to kind of make you feel good, like you're doing really good. We have to, like, you know, we have to keep our egos in check. But that's the one thing I've noticed about women. They're kind of, you're doing good. No, you're not. So I enjoy grouping with women, but grouping with men, there's something, you know, medieval about it, where we're trying to, you know, not be mean to our wives, but it goes way beyond that as well. But I guess those are the nuts and bolts of it, as far as I can tell. The other thing I was supposed to talk about was kind of what it meant to me. And I think in describing what it is, I was able to tell you a little bit of what it meant to me. But my wife is, I don't know if she's going to appreciate me telling you this, but she's a recovering alcoholic, and she'll have 12 years sobriety in October. You know, when I described to her grouping, she's like, yeah, that's what we do in AA, and you know, whatever. But it is like that. I think it is some sort of support thing that keeps you within the apostolate, and you know, I've had Saturday mornings when I come in and I'm just miserable and don't feel like sharing, and I'll hear Harris or Robbie or Freddie or Rossi or, you know, everybody's battling, and you just forget that. And it's so easy for the evil one to isolate you. And I think that's what's most important about getting up, going to a group, and just hearing everybody's battle or everybody's success. I've never walked out not feeling more encouraged or ready to go do battle again. So for me, it's incredibly important, especially to stay with the apostolate. I don't know what else would keep you more engaged. And I do have a shameless plug, two of them actually, but the first one is, if you do know anyone that's not grouping, that's a Cursiesta, you know, try to pull them in, especially here after COVID. Really try to get everyone back involved. The more people grouping, the better, because we're all fighting the same battle, but the battleground is a little different for everybody. For those of you that were at the weekend, this past men's weekend, I don't know how many shameless plugs I've done for adoration, but you'll never believe this. I don't know if this was in the bulletin, because Joe Curry called me and he said, hey, during your speech, could you tell the Cursiestas that we have 26 hours where there's only one adorer at our adoration chapel. So if you want to sign up for an hour here at our adoration chapel, I promised Joe I'd say something. But you know, adoration is you know, just as crucial to grouping. But I got to say, some of the most profound things I've ever heard or have heard recently have come from this table right here on Saturday mornings, and pretty grateful. There's been times where I've gotten up and gone straight to confession. So what can make you do that, you know, other than a bunch of other men griping, you know? But even Freddie, Robbie, and Harris have said some profound things. But if I could better describe how important it is, I wish I could, but as far as the fourth day, I don't think there's anything more important. You have your secretariat meetings, you have your ultras, and your grand ultras. The group reunion is definitely the most important. I think I've kind of participated in all of them, but this is where it's at with small groups. And that's all I got. Jake Flores.
Thank you, Garrison. Garrison, you are a